first three Child's Play movies regarded as, well, the first two. The first two are regarded as the best films of the franchise. Third one, not so much, which I don't get why. And I'm gonna get into that. Why it's hated, because it makes no sense in my opinion. I think that film is great. And I'm gonna get, but to begin this review, I think all of the Chucky movies, all these first, not all the Chucky movies, what am I talking about? All the Child's Play movies. I don't know why that took me so hard to fucking get out of my fucking mouth. All three of these Child's Play movies, the original trilogy, have really good starts to them. For example, in the first one, Charles Lee Ray, obviously we need to explain why this doll is moving, and I think the introduction of the first one is great. I like how it establishes the lore of the series, that voodoo is a huge part of this franchise, and apparently Don Mancini isn't a too big fan of that aspect, which I think is very stupid, because I think that's one of the most creative aspects of the franchise, so I don't know why he thinks it's the worst. I'm sorry, I'm getting off topic. But yeah, all three of these movies start off really well. First one, good exposition on how the doll happens, how the doll stuff happens, why it works, stuff like that, and kind of not the backstory necessarily, but who Chucky was before he was inside the doll. He was a serial killer, which I think works really well. That works really well for the first one. Then in the second one, we end where things ended off in the first one. And this is why I like this trilogy so much, is because it feels like a natural progression in this story. Because in the introduction of the second one, it begins showing Chucky's dead body. And then he gets resurrected. Who fucking knew? He gets resurrected by this lightning, and he's back. He's back again, better than ever. And I think that really works, because, how is Chucky coming back? He got fucking murked at the end of the first one. So I think it explains things well in a short amount of time on what happens in, why is Chucky back? I think it works really well. And I do like the exposition of the second one, explaining what happened to Andy's mom and the detective from the first one, which I think both are really strong characters, so it's kind of unfortunate that we don't get to see them here. But that exposition helps establish what Child's Play 2 is going to be, which is my personal preferred sequel, is my personal preferred movie in general out of this entire franchise. So we understand that, Andy doesn't have his mom now, so he's gonna have foster parents. So I think that's a great establishment early in the movie to tell us the audience that. And for the third one, the introduction is Child's Play 2. After Chucky got exploded in the end, his blood ripples into the whatever the fuck that is, and boom, he gets resurrected again. So I think that's just a great explanation on how Chucky keeps getting resurrected. And originally, Child's Play 3 was going to be the original Cult of Chucky, where there's going to be multiple Chuckies, because the blood just kind of dribbled into the pool of fucking semen or whatever that is, whatever that fucking was. And I'm fine with the final product. It would have been cool to see multiple Chuckies in the third one, but I like the third one the way it is, which, very hot take, I know. So a huge part of this trilogy is obviously going to be Andy's character, and I think the way this trilogy just tells Andy as a character is amazing. In the first one, he's just like an innocent little kid, and in the second one, he's more established as a kid that just got through something traumatic. Anytime he sees a Chucky doll, a good guy doll, he gets scared because he doesn't know if that's actually going to be Chucky or not. I think that's just a really nice way to progress his character. And in the third film, obviously he's more experienced now. He's much older, much wiser. He knows about Chucky more. He's not quite an adult. I wouldn't say he's quite a veteran yet. I think that's more in Cult and in the TV show, which I'll tackle that later. But I just think it's a nice progression in the trilogy with the way they just establish his character. Starts off innocent, and the second one he's going through this total traumatic experience that just happened to him, like, because like he knew that Chucky murdered people, so obviously that's gonna be really traumatic. And then in the third one, now he's kind of like an experienced. He's still scarred forever. He's still scarred for sure, but he's more mentally prepared for Chucky now. And as for the huge part of this entire franchise, Chucky himself, in these first 3 movies, I think this is where he was at his best. The writing of him was the best, his comedy was the best, everything about the first 3 films with Chucky are the best. Right, in the first one, he's more serious, but he's still comedic. And obviously he's established as a really scary threat, because, well, you would never expect a doll to come alive, and if you do, then something's wrong with you. So I think that's just a nice establishment of, I think the first one just establishes his character really nicely by, you know, telling us that he was a serial killer before he entered the doll, how the voodoo works, and yeah, just how like who Chucky was in the first film. In the second and third one, he's obviously more vengeful, and we get to see that more comedic personality. In the first one, he was more serious, but he still had that comedic attributes to him. He was a lot more manipulative in the first one. In the second and third one, he was manipulative too, but not to the degree of the first one. I'd say the first one, he was trying to convince a kid to he was trying to convince a kid that he was his friend, but obviously gonna enter his body. That sounds so wrong, and I apologize. This is why I wanted to record this video now. I know I'm gonna get tired later, and I'm already tired right now. So you're welcome. So I just think I think his character is just really nice in these 3 films. He's portrayed as scary, and the way he's defeated feels actually earned. Because later on in the films, ever since we introduced the cult aspect to him, they're easy to kill. He's so easy to kill. Like, logically, a cult of Chucky should be pretty fucking terrifying. But it's not portrayed that way, remotely, which is unfortunate. Because in the earlier films, one Chucky, you had to, like, shoot him multiple times, burn him, chop off his head. You had to do so much to full-on kill Chucky, which can't say that about the later sequels or the TV show, unfortunately. So anytime, like, every death of Chucky in these 3 films felt not only earned, but also just were gnarly kills in general. And Chucky was actually just a threat in these films. Like in the third one, for example, he manipulated this other kid, I forgot his name, but manipulated him so he could just enter his body instead of Andy's, which, honestly, that's not a bad trade-off, because I also like that character. I like that character. Obviously, Andy starts to catch up on that now, and he tries to save the kid's life. Could be wrong, could be remembering things not good, so please correct me if I am. All 3 of these movies tell a complete narrative, and yeah, just overall a strong trilogy. So for 3 of these movies, I'm gonna give the first one 3 pumpkins out of 3, second one 3 pumpkins out of 3, and third one 3 pumpkins out of 3. I think all 3 of these films are definite recommends, in my opinion, for your viewing. And also, I didn't mention, I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but I think Child's Play 3 works so much as a continuation, because where else would the story go? For Andy, at least, because it would make no sense for him to just get another set of foster parents. reasons. So I think him going to a boarding school, because, well, you know, all this Chucky crap, you believe a doll's alive, you're stupid. And him going to a boarding school makes the most sense. So whoever says it doesn't make it, whoever says it's unoriginal, spoiler alert, slashers aren't original, so fuck you. So yeah, all of these movies are strong and good stories.